Welcome to the channel. As you guys probably saw on my January TBR list, first book we're going to be reviewing is going to be John Green's Paper Towns, and I'm sorry ahead of time for any background noise. I'm filming at home. I'm trying to do the best I can, but if you guys hear some background noise, ignore it as best as possible. For anyone who is new to the channel and has not seen any of the reviews, or if you just need a refresher on how we do this, first section, summary of the story. Second section, what I think worked in the book. Third section, what I think really didn't work quite as well in the book. Fourth and final section is going to just be my overall thoughts on the book and my ranking of the book. With all that out of the way, let's get started. Our story follows Quentin, who is this senior in high school just trying to live his life, get through graduation, and see what the future holds. Typical normal kid, until one night he gets dragged into this insane plot by his next door neighbor Margot, and this plot basically entails Margot taking revenge on the people that she thinks wronged her in some grand display of rebellion, basically, and Quentin gets dragged into all of this with her. But despite Quentin not necessarily wanting to do this at first, as the night goes on, he slowly starts to enjoy himself. He's hanging out with Margot, and they are doing some, albeit unorthodox things. They are still having fun with each other. The next day, Margot apparently ran away and has not been heard from since. Quentin starts finding clues Margot hid. Quentin starts to become absolutely obsessed with finding Margot and figuring out why she left in the first place and where she's going, which basically culminates in Quentin and a bunch of his friends going on this massive road trip to find Margot. But along the way, Quentin learns a lot about himself and a lot about Margot as a person. And this book, at least the way I read it, is very much about human connection and how we can learn a lot about ourselves in the process of learning about other people, which I really liked. So, starting off with what I think worked with the book, definitely Margot and Quentin worked really, really well. As I was reading the book, I really got invested in Quentin and Margot, which is a surprise because this is not a typical book for me to read. If you've seen the channel, you know I normally read a lot of sci-fi, fantasy type books, so doing a coming-of-age story is very much out of my wheelhouse. John Green was able to write these two characters so well and so compellingly that I definitely enjoyed their stories so much. I can definitely relate to Quentin in just wanting to lay low, follow the path type of person that he is, because again, I am that person a lot of the time. But I also really enjoyed Margot's story of her wanting to find that freedom and realizing that the only way to find it is to completely cut ties with everything you know and just clean start. When I started college this year, I started to really feel the way Margot felt. I enjoyed the freedom that college brought. So I really love that John Green was able to connect us with both characters in such just a compelling way that I definitely enjoyed very much. And these characters, again, were just so compelling because I could connect to them so well. I can see why people like this book so much after reading it and getting to know the characters in it. So another thing that surprised me about the book was how funny the comedy is. There were parts of the book that got a fairly big laugh out of me, particularly towards the end when Quentin and all of his friends are on the road trip. There's a lot of jokes and just a lot of teenagers being teenagers that I very much did enjoy, and I think John Green did an awesome job writing the comedy in this book. And again, it got a couple of laughs out of me, which in a book like this, I was kind of expecting, but I wasn't really expecting to like the comedy as much as I ended up liking it. Jumping into what I think didn't work with the book. This is a very small point, but it's something that I noticed, and that is the conflict between Quentin, Ben, and Radar, because Ben and Radar in the book are very much obsessed with going to prom and getting ready for it, whereas Quentin is more obsessed with finding Margot. Those two things definitely cause a conflict, but the conflict is basically resolved in one conversation Radar has with Quentin about how he needs to accept that Ben's never going to be as obsessed with Margot as Quentin is. Ben has to accept that Quentin is never going to be as extroverted and outgoing as Ben is. That's a good conflict to have in a book like this, and I think it very much works, but it very much does resolve really quick. Again, it's just one conversation that Radar has with Quentin. Now, I kind of understand that that's not the central conflict. Finding Margot is the main thing of the book, but I think if that conflict had been expanded a little bit and given a much bigger payoff, then this book would be better. It's still really good, don't get me wrong. Overall, it is a really small thing, and the book is still awesome, even despite that. Final thoughts on the book here. Like I said throughout the video, I didn't expect to enjoy Paper Towns as much as I did. This isn't my typical book to read, but I am so glad that I ended up reading it because I definitely enjoyed it. John Green was able to do such a good job at having the book connect to me as a person through Margot and Quentin, because I've felt how both of these guys have felt at one point or another. Just the connection John Green was able to make between the book and myself is so good. Comedy is really funny and it never got too annoying. The comedy was still enjoyable without going overboard and becoming like obnoxious. So overall, I am so happy I checked out Paper Towns, and I think I might give some of John Green's other stuff a shot. I'm going to be giving Paper Towns a 9 out of 10. If anyone has read Paper Towns before and wants to discuss it, feel free to discuss in the comments. Just try and keep it spoiler free for anyone who hasn't read the book, but otherwise go for it and discuss all you want in the comments. If you guys have books you want me to do reviews on in the future, leave them down in the comments and I'll check them out. If you guys want to check out my social media, my Instagram and TikTok are RM Book Reviews. I'll put links to both those accounts down in the description if you guys want to go and follow that. Highly recommend checking out my TikTok because I've been posting quite a bit on there, and a lot of the stuff that's on the TikTok account isn't up on the channel or on my Instagram. So if you want to see any of that, check out the TikTok. If you enjoyed the video, please do not forget, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss another video. That is going to be it for this week. I will see you guys next time. Have a great week, and don't forget, keep on reading.